Hey guys, I'm Ubiru and welcome back to World of Warships. Today we'll be looking at the Tier 6 American Cruiser, the Cleveland. There's a few interesting aspects about the ship. Before that, I'll just quickly mention the different aspects of the ship in comparison to its previous tier, the Omaha. As in my Omaha video, I did mention the Phoenix and Omaha are light cruisers. They are the lightest cruisers and they exclusively use torpedoes. The Cleveland, however, on Tier 6, which is one tier above Omaha. From here on in, it is no torpedoes, and it's good old-fashioned cruisers with big guns, big armor. They're almost lighter versions of battleships. So, let's have a look. Okay, as you can see here, the survivability here on the right-hand side is 45, so that's pretty good for a Tier 6 cruiser. Of course, it's not nearly as good as the sort of Tier 6 battleships, which is almost double. We have 35,000 health for this ship. It can take a few hits. It can take up to probably 3 of the Tier 6 torpedoes from the destroyers. But yeah, it can withstand quite a punch. The only problem with this is when it dukes out against other Clevelands and other Tier 7, Tier 8 cruisers or battleships of the same tier, it does tend to struggle in head-on fights. It can't really take too many of those big hits. If it was against a destroyer, then if it was against a battleship, then it's probably not going to survive very long. It could be a bit of an issue. You won't be able to last too long against too many of those. But the armor is quite good, as you can see here. It says 127mm maximum. The Citadel is quite tough. The forward and aft ends, however, are very weak at only 6mm. So you can easily penetrate this with high explosive rounds, which you would usually use against cruisers at this, or throughout the whole game, in fact. High explosive rounds set these things on fire very easily, penetrate them, and do a lot of damage. One thing I have noticed, though, is if you're against another Cleveland or a Tier 7 or Tier 5 cruiser, if you use armor-piercing rounds, or going up towards the higher tiers of cruisers from around 5 upwards, you do tend to, if you hit the Citadel, which is the top bit here, you do tend to get some good hits and some good crits. I have got a few good kills by just focusing down the Citadel of the ship with armor-piercing rounds, and it does. I've had a couple of 10,000 hits, so quite effective. The armor, the survivability is okay at 45. Okay, next one is artillery, which is a very nice point to the ship. This is a DPS ship, so damage per second or damage per minute. It has here 152mm guns, and they're 3-barreled. We have 2 at the front, and we have 2 at the back. And these they don't do a huge amount of damage. It says here they only do in the range of 1600 for HE and 3500 for AP. But with the rate of fire of these guns, it 7.5 rounds per minute per gun, so that's a lot. So this can easily duke out against the heaviest of ships. You can't take much of a punch, as I mentioned earlier, but it can deal a lot of damage. If you get this far away, max distance away from higher tiers, you can pelt them over and over again with these guns. Sometimes you get lucky with some really big hits, and sometimes you don't. But as long as you focus, target, and lead your shots well, then you're more likely to get some good damage. The secondary armament is also very good for this ship. We have 127mm guns, and you see these double-barreled ones at the sides here. We have 1 here at the front, 2 on the other side, and 1 at the back. And of course, a secondary armament you can't control, but it goes off within, I think, a proximity of 4 kilometers. So if another ship, if you're duking out with a ship that's within 4 kilometers, you can obviously still use your main guns, and the secondary guns, which are within range, also fire. So when they hit, it does some nice, good damage too. So the artillery is pretty good. A very special part about cruisers from here on in, you give up the torpedoes. Torpedoes, there's no more of them. You get more guns, but you also inherit a big portion of anti-air firepower. Philosophy in this sort of era, more planes were being produced and they were more of a threat to ships So they increased the anti-air capabilities of most of the ships going upwards until the end of the Second World War. And then obviously anti-air capability was developed further after that. As you can see here, we have 27 out of 100, which is great. Not only that, well, we have like 13, well, it says here we have 13 of those. 13 one-barrel 20mm guns, a couple of Bofors Swedish guns, and 127mm guns for anti-air. That's really good, wow. So on that note, actually, secondary armament is 127mm guns I mentioned earlier, about the ones that fire on ships when they're within 4 kilometers. They're also used as anti-air guns. They have quite a high arc, as you can see here. And the arc actually, yeah, they can actually shoot at planes. I'm not sure how effective it will be because they are large caliber and the planes aren't too big. But still, that's a very interesting, a very cool aspect of the guns. I didn't know that was a thing yet in this game. Okay, the fourth point here is the maneuverability. Maneuverability of a cruiser you would expect to be pretty good. Not nearly as good as a destroyer, but worse than an aircraft carrier, and worse than a battleship. And you can see that's quite evident here. 61 is quite a good score. 33 knots max speed. It's not sluggish, it can get off to a good speed. Considering a destroyer's top speed is around 40, and a battleship is around 25, 33 is pretty good, pretty respectable. This turning circle radius is 830 meters, which is also pretty good. And the rudder shift time is only 9.4 seconds. That's really good in comparison to like the Fuso here, which is, I think it's something really small, like a 30 seconds. Or, sorry, yeah, 17.9 seconds. That's more than double the Cleveland. So this can maneuver fairly well. And the fifth and final point about this ship is the concealment. Concealment is about average. 13.3 kilometers surface detectability range and 8.1 air detectability range. So that's not too bad. Okay, let's have a look at the modules of the ship. I haven't upgraded this one yet. I didn't really see the point. I have accumulated some experience with this ship. It is fully upgraded, fortunately. But I haven't got any of these ship-specific ones. Sorry, I mean the ship upgrades that everyone has, all the ships have, or the same tier. But I have, I think I'm going to wait to upgrade the to unlock the Pensacola before I then upgrade a ship. Pensacola to the next tier 8 is going to be more of a grind than this one to the Pensacola, so I think I'll wait. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, the DPM of the ship is great. It starts off with a pretty simple gun, with a very high turning rate. The turning rate of the initial gun is really fast. It's only 22.5 seconds for 180 degree turn. Really good. But it did have a bit of a slower rate of fire than the upgrade, which is 7.5 rounds per minute, and it has an increased turning time of 10 seconds to 32.7. The damage is the same, so other than the turning time, it fires more, and that's pretty much about the gun. That's the main aspects. The whole upgrade, as you would expect, it's 4,700 increase in hit points, and we have a couple more guns added. So survivability is increased by 5, and the important thing here is the anti-air guns have increased by 13. So the maximum capability of the ship is now 27 out of 100. So that's a pretty good, pretty important upgrade. Probably the most important on the ship, which then of course leads to the Pensacola at tier 7, which is great. And of course, as always, there's a gunfire control system. Every ship except for the aircraft carrier class of ship has a 10% increase in fire range to a maximum distance for this ship to 14.6 kilometers. The tier specific ones I haven't really got for this ship yet. I didn't really see the point. I have used this ship quite a fair bit. I have accumulated quite a lot of experience. As you can see, it's fully upgraded. I didn't want to waste credits in purchasing upgrades because I'm going to go and farm this ship until I get the Pensacola at tier 7, which is only, I think, yes, it's only another 25,000 experience away, so not a huge amount, and I will buy it straight away. So these don't really make a big difference for me to make the decision to purchase them, unless of course it's the increased accuracy, which is this one here, I believe. Yep, which would probably be worth it. But the amount of rounds you fire with this ship, you don't really need to worry about accuracy because you're pummeling them. You're going over and over again. 7.5 rounds per minute per each barrel is great. So didn't really need them there. But we looked at the capabilities of the ship. It's a good ship. Let's see if we can get into some games, and I'll show you guys what it's like on the battlefield. Okay, we're here. What? We're on fault line. Okay, that's a pretty good map. This is the matchmaking. Okay, we have a tier 3. Well, it's only beta, I understand, but we have a tier 3, and they have more ships. But of course, well, actually no, we have about the same amount of tier 6s, and they have 2 aircraft carriers. So the matchmaking system is a bit broken, but it can be used to then exploit it. You know, if they have lots of low tier ships, then you can always blow them all up and have some fun. I have done that a few times in a destroyer. But in this game, let's have a look. Let's see how it goes. Okay, well, on the bottom of the screen, as you can see, this is the Cleveland. At the bottom of the screen, there's a T button, which is the same as the battleship and the tier before, the Omaha. They have a scout plane, which I press T, and the scout plane goes off and scouts an enemy. Probably a low range enemy, but still. If it scouts anything, then it's worth it. The second function is the ability is Y. This is a unique ability to cruisers around tier 6 upwards. I think it's the same for the Japanese. Citation needed. But the Y function, it's very effective at taking down anti-air. So what happens is this ship is 27 out of 100 anyway for its capability at fighting anti-air targets. But the Y button, the ability, it increases that exponentially. I mean, the damage, it's sort of like all the guns become active, all the anti-air guns, they all fire up simultaneously at any planes above you. So if there's any bombers or anything come near you, you can always press the Y, and you're more likely to take them down, you know, quicker than they take you down. So it does have quite a high cooldown, so I won't use that yet. But we are going to head towards C. There are some big battleships on the enemy team. They have one Fuso and one Congo. The Miyogi is okay, but it's not the best. That's that one just there. Congo is dangerous, and the Fuso has a broadside which can take down any ship in the game, in my opinion. And the Fuso is a very good ship. So we head towards C. It is capped now. We have a battleship and another cruiser there. It seems they probably have a destroyer. They have 3 destroyers and we have 2. So that I think one of the destroyers is probably going to camp there. But on this map, usually destroyers head towards A. They go in that little gap between the rocks. They hide there. They cap it they cap it quickly, and then they sort of defend it with torpedoes. And then sort of the big B area is probably a no man's zone. No one should really go towards B. It's pretty much suicide. You have a little bit of cover in the middle with the rock, but it's not really worth it. And on C, it's got that little gap between the 2 rocks there. It's quite fun for cruisers actually. But we are getting within. Oh, it's a good time to actually. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna press the Y button now. Full anti-air ability. Knocking down that torpedo plane as quickly as I can, and it's spamming it. One more plane left. Of course, every plane you knock down loses. There we are. Every plane carries a torpedo, so every plane you knock down loses 1 torpedo in one of the barrages. And I just completely owned it. 3 planes knocked down. Very effective. It has a 2-minute cooldown though, so that is a bit of a problem. This guy just mentioned Cleveland is OP. It's pretty much OP. Everyone says this ship is OP with the DPS, the damage, output of the main guns, and of course the anti-air capability, which is a anti-aircraft player's worst nightmare. Okay, but this is another Cleveland, so I will lay down some armor-piercing rounds. I didn't want to fire some high explosive yet. You would usually have to fire high explosive against Cleveland or other cruisers. I'm firing armor piercing because If we get some good hits on the Citadel, then I'll be able to penetrate it and do some good damage. I did get 10 hits there. Let's see if I can get some more down.
The enemy team is
Okay, critically damaged, another 10 hits. I need some more. He's turning, so he might dodge them. No, 12 hits that time, 6,400 damage. Broadside is hilariously damaging. Look at this, 6,500 damage with just one broadside. This one did 1,700 damage. He's on 4,000 left. If I get a good hit now, he's dead. He's going to bite the dust. Come on. No. Okay, next one. Of course, the maximum broadside, the shells per broadside is 12. Okay. Okay, it probably won't hit, but it was worth a try. Oh, okay, I'm a bit of a trouble now. That is a Fuso. That is, I wasn't focusing where I was going, and now I've just run into a Fuso, which is one of the most heavily damaging and heavily armoured ships at probably for the next 2 tiers, actually. Has more guns than the tier... yeah, more guns and more survivability than the tier above it. The only thing it has worse of is movability and concealment. But yeah, I can't really lay down some good hits on this guy. I'm just going to have to use the rocks to my advantage. If he gets a full broadside on me, he'll do a lot of damage. He has... Oh, he's nearly run aground, actually. So he will go into that little bay, and I will keep moving this way. Our next shot won't come in range. He's going to try and turn around, I think. For support, I have 1 battleship, 1 cruiser, another battleship there, so 2 battleships and 1 cruiser to help. He's repairing those on 38,000 health, and he's going up 40,000 health. I don't want to turn around the corner and then suddenly die. He is not focusing on me though. He is focusing on the allies. But we need to start capping something, and he is camping in a capping circle. We need to get in there. I could outmaneuver the guns, only just. The movability of the ship isn't that good. It's about average. But the Fuso is only 25. He can turn around. It's like moving a skyscraper in water. It's terrible.
Scout returning to ship.
Okay, we are getting very close. It's such a shame that the Cleveland doesn't have torpedoes, because this is the sort of range you would peak with torpedoes. If this was the Omaha, then this battleship would be dead in no time. But with these big guns, it's slower to do damage. Unless, of course, you get an ammo rack. Let's lay some damage onto him. If you fire at the front, I notice it does more penetration and more damage. He's towing the guns around. He knows I am a threat. Secondary armament is in effect now. I need to get some more firepower onto this guy. I'm going to try and get in the gap. His gun has been knocked out, the front one. He's got another one at the front, and 2 back ones are active, 2 more in the middle. Try and get around him as quickly as I can. Secondary armament is ripping me and him to shreds. Try and get around him. My guns are slow as hell too because of the upgrade I shouldn't have chosen. My allies are helping. He's going to go down most likely. Can I get him into a fire effect? Okay, I have done some more damage. Got to get a bit more damage before I get the kill. Oh, and he's down. Good. Good, good, good.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship.
Oh, that was a nice face-off. When you get that close with a battleship, then their guns are essentially useless because the movability is so terrible and the gun turning time is really, really large. So I had the advantage there. I did go for it, and I got the kill. So I did lose something like 9,000 health, but it was totally worth it. I'm just capping now, capping C. We have to stop them capping. And of course, in this game, game mode actually, it's domination. So if you destroy an enemy ship, you get points to your team, and the enemy lose points. So it works out for the best. We have captured C now. And of course, in the domination mode, if you just sit inside an enemy cap circle, then it stops trickling down. Yes, so you don't have to cap it completely. You just sit in here, and it stops capping for the other team. This one is capping for us now, but we are losing. We've killed more ships than the enemy, but they have more cap points. They have 2 aircraft carriers, 2 battleships, and 2 destroyers left. But I don't think I'll be fast enough to meet the action. We need to get into cap circle A. Sit in there, if possible. But yeah, we are. There's a few of us there.
The enemy is about to win.
They will win unless, of course, we get kills and stop their capping. They have a destroyer destroying our aircraft carriers, I can see, and there's a battleship here in the distance, which is a Congo. We managed to take on a Fuso, which was the most deadly target on their ship, the most deadly ship on their team. But the Congo is the second most deadly, so come on, we're 51k health. We have to go this way anyway, so I can give it a try. We need to take down some ship. But I'm not sure we'll win this match, actually. 800 versus 500, we do have two, but no one's near their cap, and it doesn't seem like we're anywhere near killing any of their things off. They have another battleship in the distance there. This battleship knows I'm coming, so he's hiding. But they do have two aircraft carriers, which are lurking around here somewhere, but at this point in the game, they'll be really far away. They'll be the other side of the map by now. And they are the independents, so they can move, so they're probably kiting probably around A, just to get away from where we are. When you're playing an aircraft carrier, you have to avoid everything. You can't have any direct conflict. You have secondary armament, but you can't have any conflict with anyone from close distance. You have to stay away by a long distance. Okay, we are coming within range of this, which is the Congo. He's moving in quite fast. He has taken a couple of torpedo hits by the cruiser, the Phoenix, which is the tier 4 cruiser. So we can get some good fire onto it. We are still using armor piercing. I'm quickly going to use my spotting plane just to see if we can get some good spots. There is a plane coming overhead now, so I will quickly use Y. These are the dive bombers. They are dive bombing this ship here, which is very unfortunate. But maybe I can knock some down before they retreat. There's also a torpedo bomber coming in now. I have to keep fire onto this battleship. We have to take him down. If I take him down, then we have more of a chance to win than otherwise. We need to get this guy down as quickly as we can. If they knock down another ship, then we're in trouble. Come on. Okay, we have to get some good crits on this guy. We did manage to take down its brother ship, the Fuso. Okay, our anti-air is going spastic over there because they have just fired some more torpedoes. You see this? Torpedoes? I have to take this guy down, but I also have to avoid the torpedoes. It's a priority. I probably will get hit by at least one torpedo. I am trying to maneuver as best I can. And keep fire on this guy. I have to get more fire on this guy. I have to keep moving in. If I get hit by one, I'll probably die. I need to keep fire on this guy. He needs to die, in order to, otherwise we'll lose the match. He needs to die, but I can't die. Ah.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
One of our ships was destroyed. That's a bit of a shame. We could have won that, actually, if we had both capped. We could have killed the Congo. We wouldn't have died ourselves with the torpedo bomb. He was so low. If he was dead, then we'd have a bigger advantage at that time. It's a shame someone probably threw the game. Let's have a look at the team score. We have 1 kill, 5 airplane, nothing special. Were they deserved wins? It was about average, actually. They had more ships than us. Matchmaking was a very poor display in that game. They had more aircraft carriers. They had more ships. We had a tier 3. The tiers were around the same, so it didn't make much sense for me. But it's closed beta, so it's a work in progress. We got around 50,000 damage. Nothing special. So it went quite well. Cleveland is a brilliant ship. Very, very good on the damage per minute. And it doesn't have torpedoes, so of course it's a bit of a difference to the Omaha. It's a bit faster, I guess. It's got a bit more maneuverability. Its anti-air ability is great. The guns are a lot better. Survivability is a bit better, but the torpedoes are not there. So one problem with this is the lacking of torpedoes. And there is a bit of deck space here. Why don't they just strap torpedoes? Because that would make this ship complete, in my opinion. This would be probably, it's overpowered as it is, but it would be even more overpowered if it did have torpedoes. But yeah, this is how the American cruisers go on from now. They go on a bit higher in armor, a bit higher in gun power, all the way up to tier 10. With New Orleans to Baltimore tier 9, to the tier 10 des Moines. which, as you can see, looks very advanced. I'm quite far away from this. It has a lot, the same caliber guns. No, it looks more like a battleship actually. How's the armor actually? It looks like a battleship without the armor. We have two big guns at the front, one big gun at the back, lots of secondary armament, lots of anti-air firepower. This is the ship for the future. So next time, guys, I'll probably be looking at the Mutsuki. I also started down the Japanese cruiser line, which is the Tier 4 Kuma. Of course, all the Japanese cruisers have torpedoes, so that's one thing I'm looking forward to exploring, the higher tiers of the Japanese cruisers. The Independence, which is a Tier 5 aircraft carrier, and this has some nice differences to the Tier 4. So, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.